Once when I was flying out of Atlanta on Delta, everything leaves through Atlanta. The flight attendant came on and said, hey, in the event of loss of cabin pressure, these little masks are going to drop down, and you grab one and put it on yourself first before putting it on a vulnerable loved one. And I thought, man, that's the message for caregivers. Now think through that. Every flight attendants union, every marketing agent for the airline, every government official, all the lawyers, all the regulatory people involved, all agree that we've got to remind people every single time to put their mask on first, because it's counterintuitive. Now, they don't tell you how to open up those little bags of peanuts, which are surprisingly difficult. They don't tell you how to use that atomic suction device of a toilet. They think we're going to figure that out. But they do remind us every single time to put our mask on first. Why? Because we don't think straight when we're in a crisis. What does that mean to a caregiver? Well, let me tell you something. When you see someone who's suffering, when you see someone who's going through something kind of rough, we throw ourselves recklessly at this thing. But you can't sustain that. You're not in a good position to help them if you pass out. Think about it. If you're on an airline, if you pass out, how are you going to get that mask on someone? You're not any good to that. So what I recommend, I call it the Delta Doctrine, because I just made that up. But putting your mask on first, what does that even look like for a caregiver? Well, a lot of the things that we go through a caregiver are kind of triage-y, if you think about that. I made that word up too. I make a lot of words up. Just stay with me. Triage in a medical situation, if somebody's got a broken leg or whatever, you show up at the emergency room, or the paramedics come and they assess what's going on and they treat it immediately for the crisis at hand. Well, sometimes as caregivers, we're dealing with emotional triage, because that's where the battle is for many of us as caregivers. If you got blood and broken bones and seizures and things, well, we're in a whole different, we're not talking about the relationship at that point. We're just dealing with the physical crisis. But we caregivers, the stress that comes from relationships and that triage, that emotional triage that goes on. So what I recommend, and we get in there, putting your mask on first, the first thing you do, 3 W's. Ready for this? It's very easy. WWW. Wait, water, walk. Wait. Let's talk about weight. Now, I'm not talking about heavy weight. I mean, like, I got so big it took 2 dogs to bark at me kind of weight. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just take a moment. Bite your tongue, learn to like the taste of blood. Just hold on for a minute before you say something. I never get in trouble for something I didn't say. So just wait for a moment, because you get in these high energy things and caregivers, and the stress just comes on you and it affects your physical health. I mean, you become just like this. Well, you can't live with that kind of stress. So just wait. Then water, drink some water. Drink to think. Just cool off for a little bit. Drink some water. It costs nothing. Just drink some water. And then walk. Take 5 minutes. Just take a break. Go for a 5-minute walk and just let that stress bleed off of you. This is how you take care of your physical body. You can't maintain that fight or flight high energy all the time. And believe me, when you're in a caregiving situation, this is what's going to happen. It's just one crisis after another. And if you don't learn how to calm yourself down physically, you're not going to make it. And if you don't make it, what happens to the person you're taking care of? Again, this is not being selfish. This is being healthy. And healthy caregivers make better caregivers.